Yeah, I'd message him.
Loading done. Ready to leave. TU is returning to base.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm tight, bro. Why are you picking on him? Alright. What in the fuck is going on around here? Quiet now.
Oh my gosh, I have so many conflict caches.
Quiet now.
Got one down. Alright, come on.
These pellets, bro.
I keep clinging to cover. It's fucking pissing me off.
I'm up here, bitch.
I gotta be in cover. I can get hit in this build.
Come here, bitch.
I can't move right now.
Got your back. I got your back. Come here. I dare you. I told you. Six needs help.
Armor, berserk clutch. I'm at Bravo CP. I'm not rogue, but I'm at the checkpoint. Try to pump it.
Alright.
Good job, bro. Good job.
Dude actually gave me props, yo.
Who's that?
Dude, both the dudes I killed.
To the base.
I'm pushing you, you trash. Manhunt. Got another one.
Always checkpoint for you, babe.
Righteous is not rogue. I can't join any.
The supply drop.
Hey YouTube, Be Righteous once again here from Identity, back with another build video. Now this build is one I've spoken of previously putting together, specifically on my Obliterating aim build. I asked many of my subs if they'd like me to make an assault rifle version of that. A lot of you wanted it, so here it is, and I must say that I have never melted anyone this fast, so stay tuned. If it's your first time here on my channel and you're interested in builds from DPS all the way to skill, then this channel is for you, so please drop a like and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all my content. Obliterating Sight is a build that has an aggressive playstyle that literally cuts through enemies' armor and health as if it were never there. If you're the kind of player that loves to rush and be in enemies' faces, then this build is right up your alley. The surprise damage you can inflict on agents while in cover is unforgettable. I can't count how many times I've beamed agents that made their feeble attempt at rushing me. The purpose of this build is to wreak havoc upon your enemies with reckless abandon. If you play with this build, it kind of forces you to feel that way, confident, self-assured, and ready to go into a fight knowing that if the sight is right, then victory is almost guaranteed. Out of all my builds, this one was particularly hard to put together. One reason is that you want to be tanky because of the meta, but you also want to utilize every aspect that this build has to offer. So it's a very much give and take type of build. Many times I've rolled stats on and off this gear trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to run it. So let me show you what I finally decided to come up with. So for the specialization, I decided to go with the Demolitionist, mainly for two reasons. One is for the laser pointer that you get that gives you 7% critical hit chance, and also for crisis response, which is a skill in the skill tree that when your armor is depleted, then it automatically reloads your magazine. That's a really good skill for a build like this. And for the weapons, I'm using Rail Splitter. Of course, you know it has perfectly measured on it, and all you want is RPM. So of course I'm gonna roll leg roll. It makes it 990, almost 1000 RPM, which is the reason why I'm running the Merciless, for the explosive damage that you get when you're firing your primary. Now if you want, you could use the Chatterbox. It's up to you if you want to have even more fire rate, but Chatterbox talent only activates after you get a kill. So I want something that's active right away, and the Merciless is what I wanted to use. For the pistol, I'm just using it for protected reload. The build is similar to the Obliterating aim build that I had. The difference is that I'm using an AR, and ARs do health damage. That's why I wanted to make this build, because after you break somebody's armor, you get Obliterate, and it gives you a significant amount of more damage. Now I know a lot of you are probably thinking that, oh, once you break their armor, they're dead anyway, but that's true for the most part. Some people have high health builds like Berserk. Some people have high health in general, 100k and 150k health, so it helps with that. And also when you're fighting multiple agents, if you kill one of them, you break their armor, you kill them, Obliterate procs, and you have Obliterate for the next enemies that you fight. And you've seen in the gameplay in the beginning, I was fighting multiple enemies, and that's why I was able to melt some of them so fast, because I would kill one of them, the next one will come up, and then I would have Obliterate. The extra damage is just crazy. So it's a great setup for aggressive play styles, and I'm gonna tell you why right now. Okay, so I have the Punch Drunk Mask with 38% damage to elites, 9.5% crit chance. You want to roll as many damage talents on this build as you can, so you can stack it up as much as you can, because it's an aggressive build. The chest piece I have in a raw, the pristine example, 40% armor, 15% weapon damage, and perfect vigilance. So the reason why I don't have Berserk on here is because I'm not as tanky as I want to be to use Berserk. And I was debating on whether or not I wanted to roll 25% total armor on this instead of 15% weapon damage. But because of the type of build this is, 334k armor is okay. Now if I had Berserk, I'd probably have the armor on here, because then I'd have the Berserk damage. But for this build, you want to be the one who attacks first. So if you attack first, kill that first person with vigilance, then you got Obliterate proc. It works really good. So you just have to know how to play this build. The holster, I have it for the crit damage mainly. You want to stack as much crit damage as you can on this build. The One Piece Wyvern gives me 7%, then I have 14% as an attribute, and critical, which gives me 15% flat. So on this holster alone, I have 36% critical hit damage. Backpack, I have a Gila, gives me 5% total armor, helps out a little bit. Then 10.5% total armor, 12,000 armor, and 11% weapon damage with hardened and efficient. Now efficient is that talent where it doesn't matter what your stats are, it's gonna work. I'm rocking with some Douglas and hardened gloves, 13% AR damage, 2% crit chance. It would be nice if I had 5% or something like that, but this is what I got. And it helps because you need as much crit chance as you can on this build. I would roll crit chance on my holster, but I'd rather have crit damage because of Obliterate. And that's what I have on these gloves, Obliterate. When you deplete an enemy's armor, you get 30% critical hit damage for 15 seconds. I'm going to show you the stat sheet towards the end, but I do have 71% critical hit damage, so once I break their armor, it's going to give me 101 crit damage total. Knee pads, Douglas and Harding knee pads with composure and 9% critical hit chance. And this right here, I was also debating on whether or not I wanted to roll crit chance on here, because originally it was just 11.5% total armor, which made my armor 360k. And if I would have rolled that 25% total armor over the 15, then I probably could be over 400k. But then I'd be sacrificing two things: damage and critical hit chance, which for a build like this, you just want to kind of go in one direction. You want to go with the crit damage, crit chance, and weapon damage. Because normally, honestly, man, most people I've seen with this build usually only have like 250k armor or 270k armor. That's the most I've seen people have. And if they do have 400 to 500k armor, they're sacrificing a lot of crit damage, a lot of crit chance, and weapon damage. And I definitely didn't want to do that. And the way that I play, I'm comfortable at 300 to 400k armor. That's where I live mostly. If you notice, in most of my builds, that's where I live. So when it all comes down to builds, I'm giving you a template for you to figure out how you want to do it. I personally think this is the best way to run this, so this is the way I did it. The skills I have is nothing really special. It's just a booster hive and the defender drone. Now the defender drone is great in PvE, but in PvP it's okay. I mean, you know, they don't want it to be OP. They had to nerf it a few times already. So the defender drone just gives you that little extra health while you're fighting. Oh, I forgot to say, the knee pads, the composure, man. Okay, it was a couple times where I was in cover and I was far away from the enemy, and I was in cover, composure was procced, and there's a playstyle where you have to either sit back or you have to be the aggressor and shoot first. And that's what kind of playstyle this is. It's a shoot first mentality, and that's what I was doing a lot. There's not much more to say about this build. I really like it for the aggressive nature of it, and if that's the type of player you are, then this is the perfect build for you. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. I know there's a lot of people who like to play like this, and that's one of the reasons that I made this build. I was testing this build out on Persevere, one of the clan members, and I just started shooting him, and I didn't realize he had 520k armor. I thought he was like at like 350 or something like that, and when he told me how much armor he had, I was like, oh yeah, I got something here. And also when I was in conflict, I was fighting some people that had 400 to 500k armor, and it worked like a charm, man. Build is very strong. Like I said, let me know what you think down in the comments, and that's it for the build, and I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.